Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it's Christelle Martinette here, and I'm here for a reading for Cancer, a peek into 2020, I guess is the best way to say that. A peek into the year 2020. And how am I going to do that? So I'm going to use the Lenormand deck. It's an oracle card deck that those readers out there who read know what I'm talking about and how will I spread them. The Lenormand are 36 cards, and usually for a grand tableau where you use all of the cards, you use all 36. The mini grand tableau is an inner cutout with the various different houses which are numbered, and I lay the cards. So I'll be talking first in terms of trimesters, the first 3 months, and then the second 3 months, and then the third 3 months, and then the fourth 3 months. So as I lay the cards, I'll show you the table in front of me. Let's see if I can do that now. Okay, there you are. Let's see if I could get right there. Let's see what's in store for Cancer for the year 2020. Let's see what's in store for Cancer for the year 2020. Okay, let's take a look here first. Okay, now let me show you those cards. We've got the ship, the garden, the clover, the house, the fox, the dog, the moon, the tree, the clouds, the stork, the stars, the bouquet, the mountain, the cross, the birds, and the mice. Now, let's see what happens in the first 3 months of the year, January, February, March. January, February, and March. Well, many of you will be traveling, actually, literally traveling to a place that will that you've wanted to go for a long time. There are two readings here. There are a couple of readings here. Traveling to a place that you've wanted to go for a long time, and many of you will do that to make amends for some. You've been bad, and you want to make amends with someone, and you'll take them on a trip, or you're trying to recreate an atmosphere which will be conducive to you to make amends. And there's all different problems surrounding that, and it's not going to be easy. All right. Now, this is happening the first 3 months of the year. Anytime during that those first 3 months, the January, February, or March. The other reading here is where you will be literally, Cancer, becoming more astute. You're going to up your game, and this, you can do this through either courses you take, something that, let's say you've been on the job and people have given you the runaround, you've been criticized, maybe you haven't been producing, maybe you haven't been doing your best, but it looks like you're going to be upping your game in those first 3 months. January, looks like to me January, over January and February, you're going to take some kind of courses, brush up on certain things. Difficult. That will be difficult for you, but it's going to be worth it. The biggest takeaway for these first 3 months, Cancer, is that spiritually you are stocking up. Spiritually, you're going to feel like you've done something for yourself. You're making a jump, a qualitative jump, in not only for your career, but in terms of who you are. Okay, this has a lot to do with the ego, but it also has a lot to do with identity. What is identity? Identity is the blood that goes into our veins. It has a lot to do with your blood. Now let's go on to the second 3 months of the year, April, May, and June, I really do have, let's say that of all of tri- the trimesters, or the three-month periods, of all of these trimesters, I find that this is the most important, um, something that is going to be learned, some healing that's going to occur, something you learn here that you take away for the rest of your life. What happens? You're going to be drawn to public occasions, could be parties, it could be gatherings, it could be demonstrations on the street, something where there are a lot of people, spiritual retreats, something where there are other people, like-minded people, and that is something you have wanted to do for a long time, and you will be doing it. Actually, you're going to be coming back to a pet peeve, something that you would have liked to do or you used to do when you were someone else, when you were younger. And this time, however, this time round, Cancer, you're going to come away with the understanding, you're going to literally say to yourself, hell, I should have kept doing that. I should have been true to my nature. I should have been, because I could have made a name for myself, or I could have just been true to myself, period. So it's a really interesting period, this April, May, and June, where you learn a lot about yourself, a lot of how you've changed, but also a lot about your soul and your soul's journey, literally. In the next trimester, July, August, and September, in the July, August, and September period, I find that this is going to be quite interesting. A lot of interesting things happen here in terms of meeting new people, in terms of romance, in terms of how you're going to feel moved by certain people. There's a lot less nervousness in terms of interpersonal relations initially. And then, however, towards the very tail end, when we're getting into September, those last weeks there in September is when you start to um, become a little bit anxiety ridden, because things are not moving as fast as you would like them. Things are not moving in the direction that you would like them, or things are just not moving, period. But, from a reader's point of view and a psychic's point of view, I'm looking at a trend here. I'm looking at a period, July, August, especially, where they're telling you, please enjoy what comes your way, and let's wait. There's always time. They say in Italy, there's always time to pay taxes. There's always time to die. There's some things that you don't have to do in a hurry. So enjoy that period. Let's go to the last 3 months of the year, October, November, and December. And we've got here a coming into your own on the one hand, and then going out of your own on the other. Let me explain. There's a sense of community. There's a sense of groundedness. There's no doubt about that. And this is in the last 3 months, October, November, December. There's a sense of happiness and joy and giving. You're going to extend yourself towards others interpersonally, but also in terms of being generous. You are generous. However, at the end of that period, at the very tail end, you probably the last few weeks of the year, you have a feeling of fear. Fear creeps in, and it's just like the anxiety of the last 3 months. It comes in because we're human, of course. It creeps in, and it seems to ruin all of that joy, all of that love that you have all around you. And so we might want to look out for that. Now I'm going to read the houses that I have in front of me. Each position corresponds to a house. And in terms of endings and beginnings, I do see that there will definitely be in this year, Cancer friends, a moment that will mark the ending of a part of your journey. There's an ending to a part of your journey. And in order for you to start another, the first has to end. And I talk about a journey, I don't mean you moving and traveling. I'm talking about your life's lessons. And in order for you to go on, you need to complete one lesson. And this is going to occur in the year 2020. In terms of surprises, the surprises that you receive and anything that literally surprises you, it is going to be in public. It's going to be in those gatherings when there are like-minded people. Look out for signs and symbols and people who will cross your paths, because you will be surprised. Now, endings. Endings, I have the very lucky card here, that I showed you before, the clover, and it tells me that if you had any doubt about a life lesson that causes you to pause and put an end to one part of your journey, fear not, because that is going to be the most um, surrounded by much joy before you move on, even though you don't see it right away. Things concerning communication, um, oral communication. It's going to be around the home, your tribe, your people who you call your inner sanctum, your inner circle of friends that act as a tribe. That's where you spend most of your conversing, literally conversing. And if you don't, the cards are suggesting that you do. Now, one important, probably the most important area of the spread here in the year 2020 is your work and your livelihood. It's the entire year is going to be focused on that, because you're going to be looking over your shoulder. You're going to be looking at how you can strategize in order for you to improve this and that and the other. And even though another person may cross your path, you may end a relationship and so on and so forth. What I'm seeing here is that no matter what, on that front burner is your work and your livelihood. Everything else takes a second, um, takes a back seat. And it is an area which is highly lucrative for you this year. The sense of security that you glean through your friends, those people who are closest to you. They are the ones, and I'm not talking about simply the family. I'm talking about people who you surround yourself with. Those are the ones who will give you a greater sense of security. The area of guidance. Where do you feel most guided and more supported, Cancer? It is in the area of love. And it's in the area of love. For you, love is of prime importance. For you, love, even if you can establish some form of a relationship with the newspaper stand owner who every day sees you because you go buy a newspaper, that serves as a link, as a bond for you. And should that person one day not be there, that will be a problem for you, because the love that they would communicate simply by smiling to you is paramount for you. And that sensation will guide you during the year 2020. Home. What about our home? Where we put our hat? For you, Cancer, it has always been and will remain the place where you have built your family, where you have aimed and planned to put your family. If you paired up with a person and you decided to live together, every little move you made, getting a table, building a table, putting up shelves, that is your home. That's where you have your roots, and that's where you will feel your most groundedness. Public life, your public life, Cancer. This is not your greatest moments here. If you can stay away from the public life, you will. You are called to parties, real big parties. I'm not talking about an intimate gathering here, a birthday gift or a birthday party. No, I'm talking about um, concerts, friends who invite you to go to concerts, things that are on a greater scale. These political gatherings, you shy away from them. They are not for you this month. But in the beginning, you may say, no, I don't want to go, I don't want to go. But then it's just an initial impact. And should you then go, it has nothing to do with making you sad at all. It's just the sensation, that gut feeling that you have initially. Obstacles that are in your way during the year to 2020 are represented by you having to revisit places of the past, you having to revisit people of your past, you having to be, in your mind, reminded that, oh, yes, those are the friends who introduced me to my ex. Those are the friends who he's the one I used to play soccer with. She's the one I used to be on the cheerleading team with. She's the, things like that. And that will occur, you will see them, and that will happen. Um, and I'm looking at it as a form, as an obstacle, as an emotional obstacle. Now, decisions that you will need to make in the year 2020 have to do with you seeking guidance, wanting to seek guidance before you make any form of decision. I have to change my car, I have to buy another car. You're always going to get counsel in some way. You're going to talk to a dealer who was your friend. You're going to talk to your ex, which is a car dealer. You're going to talk, you are seeking guidance. And the more you do for any kind of decision-making process or decision that you have to make is blessed when you seek advice. So let's do it. Now, nuisances and problems that may come your way. I've included this in the spread because it is life. This is life. And we do have nuisances. And so I've kept a house here for that. But I have to say, Cancer, you don't have any of that. You don't have major setbacks. You don't have any nuisances. You don't have anything gnawing at you. You really are, again, blessed with this in the year 2020. And it looks like to me that the more difficulty comes out of you having to revisit someone from the past who reminds you of something, and someone who perhaps is no longer part of your life. Things that are hidden from you, people who are hidden from you, let's say knowledge that is hidden from you, and people who are out of sight. Here, yes, this is an area that is going to create ever so slightly a difficulty. But what kind of difficulty, Cancer? It's the kind of difficulty, it's a spiritual difficulty. It's a soul's challenge. And when something's not there, that little bit of fear comes when you don't see someone, you haven't heard from somebody for a day, two, or someone you talk to every day. And for that whole entire day, they didn't call you, they didn't reach out. You start worrying, and that you can't contact them. You don't know what to do. That is hidden from you, actually. That is where you immediately, for some reason, fall into this soul challenge, soul crisis. Oh my God, without that, so it is something, the cards are telling you, it is a spiritual challenge. And when something is out of sight, it means that it needs to be out of sight and hidden from you. So don't push it, Cancer. Matters of communication, written communication. Written communication here is something that is going to give you a run for your money, as they say in English. Something that will be a literal pain in the ass for you, because you may have to contend with documents, the sale of deeds, the sale of the house, maybe you want to rent something and it's just the paperwork is overwhelming compared to what you expected, and that will be something that will be overwhelming. And then I have here also male influences and female influences. We all know that we have an anima and an animus in our soul, and so we have both male and female influences. And having to do with male influences, if you are a person who is seeking out a male, it is going to be a year that is challenged, will bring you anxiety because it's not going your way, it's not going as fast as you want. You become extra anxious because something is not controllable for you. Watch out for that. If this has to do with your male side, that means if you are a woman, for example, it may play out on the workplace. That activity will cause you anxiety. If it's a male, your male, it's the same. Your work will cause you anxiety. Now, the female side to the story, the female influences. Now, literally, uh, our if you are in a relationship with a woman, and or you are seeking a relationship with a woman, they're going to be hiccups during the year. If you are in a relationship with a woman, that will be insidious. There's going to be a little bit of insidious issues all throughout the year with that person. But your female side, if it plays out onto your female side, your wilds and let's say your emotional side, for both men and women, your emotions during the year, Cancer, as I said, revisiting a person from your past will make you remind you of things that were just really emotional baggage. Well, there is going to be a bit of insidious difficulty for you. Ladies and gentlemen, Cancer friends, I do hope this was of help to you, and please like and share my videos if you appreciate them, and I do hope you're going to have a wonderful end of the year. Happy New Year, and until we read together again, bye bye, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste.